Hello chess friends and welcome to your of Chess channel and welcome to an amazing and incredible game by the strongest and the most powerful chess engine in the world by the beautiful Stockfish 16. Today we see the fish battling it out against another top engine Minic in a rare opening, in an opening that we have not covered so many times here on my YouTube chess channel. Today we see the fish playing the beautiful Trompowsky Attack with the white pieces. So the Trompowsky Attack is very rare opening, as I said. Not many top GMs are playing the Trompowsky many times, so it's a really rare case, but as a surprise weapon I think you can use it, maybe surprise your opponent with dirty ideas, with dirty tactical threats, with really cool opening traps, because the Trompowsky has really many opening traps for sure. So let's see now what happened. Put your seatbelts on. Incredible game it was. So with the white pieces, the fish opened with move d4, knight to f6 here by the Minic engine. We have bishop to g5. Now we have the beautiful Trompowsky attack. The main strategic goal in the beginning is of course to take out now the knight on f6 if black allows that, because then we'll simply mess up the pawn structure on the king side. Black will have a double pawn structure on the f file. It's unpleasant then to play the game. The light screw problems could be very dangerous for black. It is playable even if you allow that, but I guarantee you, if you don't know the sequences of these types of lines, you could get many positional problems. So I would recommend you, like the Minic engine here, to play the move knight to e4. And okay, this move breaks a certain principle in chess that says that you should not play with the same piece in the opening twice. But here black is hoping that white will do the same with the move bishop to f4. Now black is saying, okay, you lost also tempo, I lost the tempo, you get your bishop out, I get the knight out, so it's, I think, a fair trade. But here after move bishop, knight to e4, Stockfish plays now the most aggressive line in the Trompowsky attack, plays now the move h4. This is now the so-called Raptor variation, and from this point on, Stockfish is announcing really brutal tactical battle. So after move h4 here, the Minic engine applies a certain rule again in chess that says when you get attacked on the flanks, you should strike back in the center with the move c5. Of course, here the Minic immediately tried, of course, to let the position explode in the center of the board. If you play here knight to g5, you could play it. It's not a mistake, inaccuracy, blunder or something here by black, but again I guarantee you will not have fun playing this game after h takes g5. The h file is open, and although black is still having the bishop pair on the board, white lost the bishop pair. There is now always the tactical threat, like after something like, I don't know, d5 e3, and after, I don't know, maybe normal development, there is also always the problem to play the move bishop to d3 and then followed with g6. F takes g6, then bishop to g6 you cannot take because of the activities here by the rooks on the h file. You could maybe try to block it out with g6 in some lines, of course. I'm just pointing out the tactical threats, but even if you do that, then the h file really is dangerous. So really an unpleasant game to handle. Playable, as I said, nothing wrong, but then again you have to know where this game is going on, what's going to happen, what kind of a sideline. So you have to be really prepared in a tactical way in these types of positions, in these types of structures. So after move h4, as I said, Minic applies the rule: when we get attacked on the flanks, it's best to strike back in the center of the board. So c5. Stockfish, of course, tries now to keep the center locked. Doesn't allow here Minic to open somehow the position in the center. We have queen to a5, we have c3, and now e6. So you see, still Minic is battling now for the center, and Stockfish now plays a very interesting line, knight to d2. Challenges now the knight on e4. First of all, leaves now this pawn on d5 unprotected. What should black do? In the game here, e takes d5 was played. Let's see what happens if you play now knight takes g5. I think now it's even riskier to play the move knight to g5, because after h takes g5, something like a takes d5. Then again with knight to h3, look at this. We have very dangerous ideas here. Black can of course strike still back in the center of the board, but now with knight to f4, g6, the game is very dangerous. Okay, black maybe can play something, I don't know, d takes c3, b takes c3. We take even another pawn here by black, but again the activity, I think, here is simply too much to handle that white has here. g6, f takes g6. You can even pick up the pawn immediately. You can even kick away the queen. When the queen drops back, we still attack the queen. The queen drops back. Look at this. All of these pieces are on the back rank. We have still the h file attack. We'll include this other knight into the game. e3, bishop to d3 is going to happen. Queen to c2. So many opportunities. I think the development that white has here is simply too much to handle here for black, so it's not working. So after move knight to d2, that's why Minic, as we said, played d takes e4, pardon me, e takes d5. We have knight takes e4 here by Stockfish 16. Now comes d takes e4. Stockfish attacks now the pawn, and Minic counter attacks, plays now here an attack against the pawn on b2. But of course, Stockfish has the check is much more important. First attacks the king. The Minic engine tried now a solid choice, queen to e6. Tried, of course, to simplify the game by trading off the queens, but Stockfish is an attacker, and an attacker doesn't love, of course, to trade off the pieces when you're on the attacking side. Plays now, first of all, the move queen to d3. We have h6, Stockfish retreats, we have knight to c6, and now g3. Very important move. You cannot develop your pawn, you cannot develop your light bishop with the move e3, because in some lines g5 could be very dangerous. So here, that's why after move g3, d5 by Minic, we have bishop to g2, and now d4 here by Minic. You cannot take out the knight on c6 in order to capture the pawn on d4, because if that happens, then of course you also, after queen to c6, your rook is hanging on h1. So that's why Minic first of all played after move knight to f3 by the fish. We have d takes c3 by Minic, and now b takes c3. Of course, we don't want to take out with the queen. Here Stockfish wants to further control of the d4 square. After b takes c3, we have bishop to e7, and now Stockfish plays a4. Now we have kingside castling by the Minic chess engine. And here's my question for you. What would you do now in this particular position? Pause the video and maybe try to see the best solution here. I'm not saying this move is winning or something immediately, but it's a progressive idea. I think also it's a must-see now move. If you don't play this move, black will regroup. Black will simply get back into the game. Black has a healthy structure. Black has, I think, still good activities with the bishops. The knight will eventually come into the game, so you don't have time in many occasions in chess. You have maybe one or two chances in the game to play active, to maybe find the most aggressive move. So as I said, pause the video and try to see now the best continuation here for white. Okay, Stockfish, the amazing attacker, played now the beautiful knight to g5. This is the way to go. What should you do? If you don't react, if you play something like f5, the queen is saying g6, you don't have time. You have to basically now accept the challenge. So here, after move knight to g5, we have h takes g5 by the fish, by Minic, pardon me. And now after h takes g5, now there is again the beautiful checkmate threat on h7. What should you do? If you play something like queen to g6 here by black, this wasn't played in the game g6 was played. If you play queen to g6, then the issue is this one. Bishop to e4, we attack now the queen. You can maybe counterattack with, I don't know, c4, but now we continue the pressure with the move queen to d5. Now, of course, black could try something like bishop to e6, but now we first pick up the queen. Okay, we lost also our queen, but now you run into this tactic, bishop to h7, followed with bishop to e4, the discovered attack, and now we simply pick up the bishop with the bishop pair on the board. With the upper pawn, I think this is devastating for black. Rook to b1 is going to happen. You have several weaknesses. You cannot even protect it because this bishop is active, so these bishops are really dangerous, cross-rolling all over the board, so it's not working here for black. So after move h takes g5, that's why here g6 was played by the Minic engine, but now bishop to d5, again with the same plan. Here we have c4, again the same idea by Minic. We have queen to c4, queen to f5, so the Minic engine is trying now to protect the light squares. And again, let's pause the video again. Try to see now again the best continuation here for white. What would you do now in this particular position? What's now again a new progressive plan? There is also very important principle in chess. I'll explain what's all about. So first, try to see now the best solution. Okay, there is, as I said, a certain rule in chess that says when you don't have any further possible activities with all of your pieces, then probably the best next move is a pawn move. So you see, with the queen on c4, with the bishop on d5, you have really already your pieces on the most active squares. This rook cannot be improved, I think. This bishop cannot be improved. The only piece that can be maybe improved is the rook, but it's a little bit too slow. You have to play maybe one move, 2, 3, maybe even 4, 5, just in order to make some kind of a threat. So you don't have time, I think, in this position to activate the rook. So the rook is basically out of game. But now the best idea, as I said, when there's no activity with the pieces, probably the best next move is a pawn move, and Stockfish plays now the beautiful G4. This is the way to go. Look at this. After queen to G4, now Stockfish plays bishop to C6. That's now the most important move. The follow-up is the most important one to find. Look at this. If you play here B takes C6, then the issue is you have to get bishop to E5. Look at this. You cannot play F6 because of course of the queen's activity. You cannot stop this checkmate threat. You cannot even pick up the queen because you get checkmated again here on H8. That's now the main threat here. This is game over for black. So you see, with the move bishop to C6, that's now the most important thing. So first of all, G4, decoying the queen towards the queen here on the fourth rank, and now bishop to C6. That's the beautiful follow-up. And now here in the continuation, bishop to E6 was played by Minic, as we said. After B takes C6, then we have bishop to E5, and the game is over here for black. Really wild stuff. So after bishop to C6, we have queen to E6, but now again with the same plan, queen to E4. What should you do? If you play here B takes C6, again, Minic doesn't have time to play this move. Now, again, with the same threat, bishop to E5, the queen is hanging. Okay, you could maybe try now F6, and still the bishop is connected to the square G4 here, but actually after queen to G6, you get checkmate. Now we have a similar tactic, but with a different continuation. But again, with the same outcome, black is simply lost. Really wild stuff. So after queen to E4, that's why here king to G7 has to be played, and now Stockfish plays a beautiful bishop to B7, gets out of this mess, has now won some material, and has now still the beautiful activity. But still there is this threat, bishop to E5, so we should not underestimate it. So here after move rook from A to D8 to C, now still bishop to E5 is working. Now Minic has this move F6, but now after queen to G4, bishop to G4, Stockfish simply retreats and has now a solid game, has now a situation where Stockfish is up, let me count, 2 pawns in the continuation, and this is, in my opinion, not working again here for black. Really crazy what Stockfish did. So bishop to F5, Stockfish simply pushed the pawn further, and here Minic even simply traded off the rook for the bishops. Here Minic couldn't tolerate anymore this activity by the dark square bishop. So of course Stockfish takes. We have now f takes G5, king to F1, G4, king to G2, rook to E8, and now E4. Of course, we have now this powerful center, which simply pushed the pawn. So bishop to B4, bishop, we have E takes F5, G takes F5, Stockfish pushes now the pawn to A6, king to G6, Stockfish includes now another rook into the game, simply delivers a check, includes of course this other rook, and simply pushes now the pawn further. King to F6, we have bishop to C8, bishop to E5, and after rook to D5 here, F4 was played by Minic, although the engine, for instance, suggests something like bishop to B2, but then still look at this, bishop to F5, so it's just a tiny little, maybe slightly more accurate continuation for black when it comes to computer evaluations, but it's not working in any case. I think black is simply lost. So here after move F4, Stockfish simply pushed the pawn further, and now Minic even gave up the bishop. Not sure why, but probably it calculated something that maybe the game could last longer if it sacrifices the piece. I'm not sure, but really stupid move. Stockfish of course grabs it, simply includes now the pieces into the attack, simply also grabs now the rook on D8, delivers a couple of checks, and now after a couple more moves, it was a beautiful checkmate with the move queen to G5. Really crazy attack, really stunning tactics in the middle game stage. That's now this progressive Trompowsky attack that we have seen. Really crazy positions. As I said, you can try it out. You can try out the Trompowsky attack, but you have to be really a tactical beast. You have to know sequences. You have to be prepared. As a surprise weapon, it can work. Also the Raptor variation, nothing wrong with it. But again, new ideas, new plans, new tactics, new strategies. So really it can be dirty sometimes in the Raptor. I played it sometimes, I lost some games, won some games, I got destroyed sometimes with the black pieces against the Raptor defense, Raptor variation. So it's simply sometimes too complicated to play this kind of position. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. If you want to see more epic and brutal chess games like this, check out our Common Chess Games Played by Computer series. Here's the link of our playlist, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say? Chess is the best, of course.